You probably think you're in control of your thoughts and decisions, but in reality, many of your choices are guided by instincts deep inside your mind called cognitive biases, and some people know how to use them to make you buy more. How can you know when you're being betrayed by your own mind? And what can you do to stay in control of your decisions? Let me show you. In this series, you'll take a journey inside your mind, and in each video you will learn about one of the many cognitive biases that your brain has and how science explains it. We'll do some experiments to make you feel them so that you can identify when it's being used against you for marketing purposes. And I'll take you behind the scenes of product creation to show you how cognitive biases are being integrated into products and web pages. I'm Jeremy Gage. I'm a senior product manager at Meta with more than 13 years of experience in product management. I'm an ex-startup founder, and I've been in software companies of all sizes and industries, and I'm fascinated by how the brain works and how it drives our decisions. But before I continue, let me start by my usual warning. Once you learn about cognitive biases and how they're being used to influence you by modern marketing, you will not be able to unsee it. It's like choosing between the red pill and the blue pill in Matrix, or when someone tells you about the sound of a clock in the background. There's no going back. Are you ready? Let's get going and learn about the scarcity effect. So let's get going and learn about the scarcity effect. Because the scarcity effect is a phenomenon that, when used right, can turn people into hordes of angry zombie buyers that are capable of fighting over stuff they don't even need. But to understand the scarcity effect, you must first understand what a cognitive bias even is and why they even exist. Now, if you've been binging this series and you already saw this part where I explain about how thoughts are formed inside your mind, you could skip this part. However, the more you see it, the better trained your brain will be. But if this is new to you, this might change the way you see the world. So what are these cognitive biases that are hiding inside your brain? Well, simply put, they are mental shortcuts. We use them subconsciously to make fast decisions when a more deliberate process is considered by our brain as too long and just not necessary. And our brain developed and refined them over the course of our evolution based on our instincts and our past experiences. Because back when we were food for other animals, cognitive biases helped our ancestors survive in a world where quick decisions often meant the difference between life and death. But even in modern life, cognitive biases can be incredibly efficient and help us make quick decisions in a really fast-paced world. Imagine having to analyze every single decision of the day, from what color should your socks be today, or what mug should you make your coffee in. You'd never get anything done. But on the flip side, cognitive biases can lead us to make irrational decisions because they can cause us to overlook important information, misjudge situations, or be influenced without us even knowing about it. Now, the mind is one of the least understood parts in science, but there's been a lot of progress in the past 20 years. Someone even won a Nobel Prize for understanding how decisions are made in the brain. That someone is Daniel Kahneman, and he describes how the mind works in his book Thinking Fast and Slow. And that book changed my life, especially as a product manager, and I'm not even joking. You should read it, but until then, I'm going to show you exactly what you need to know. So let's open the hood and have a look inside your brain. Now imagine your brain as being composed of two different systems. System 1 is our fast, automatic, and often subconscious way of thinking. It's like the brain's autopilot. Now, if I ask you, how much is 2 plus 2, or in which city do you live, the answer just came by in your brain without even thinking about it. That's System 1 at work. It's quick, effortless, and heavily relies on cognitive biases to achieve that speed. Then there's System 2. It's our slower, more deliberate mode of thinking, and it kicks in when we're solving a complex problem like planning a schedule or playing chess, reading an analysis at work, or when System 1 couldn't reach a fast decision on its own. And System 2 is analytical, logical, but it takes more time and effort. But there's a very big problem. Sometimes System 2 is not called for a rational and deliberate decision because System 1 already thinks he made a good decision, which is not always the right one. For example, when you get manipulated by the scarcity effect, which made the headlines back when Dr. Robert Cialdini published his bestseller on the psychology of influence. It's a book that got recognized by marketers as one of the most important books written in the past 10 years, and that's for marketers. and it covers the scarcity effect as one of the 7 overpowered means of influence on other people. Now, I could just read what Wikipedia has to say about the scarcity effect, but like in my other videos, I much rather show you because it's so much more effective to learn by experiencing the scarcity effect. So let's play with your brain. Let's say you're still on that trip to Paris that you started in my last video on the social proof effect, and you're enjoying so much that you decide to extend your trip. So you head to booking.com to search for a new hotel for these extra nights. You're presented with these 2 options that seem to match your preferences, but you feel like you need a bit more time to think about which of these hotels would be the best suited for you in terms of price and locations because you're late for the show at the theater or the théâtre. So you go to the theater show and resume your search a few hours later when you're back in your hotel room, but now you see that one of these hotels only has a few rooms left at that price. Your brain starts to race, and a voice in your head suggests that if you don't act quickly, not only might you miss out on the best price, but at this rate, there might not be room left at all. So you book that room in a hurry, driven by the fear on losing out on a good deal, or by the fear of not being able to find a good room that could match the rest of your vacation, even if you didn't finish comparing all the options or even plan the itinerary for the rest of your days in Paris. And that voice in your head, that's the scarcity effect, also known by its street name, FOMO. It's an F and an O, FOMO. And that's the exact same voice that will turn people into crazy buying monsters on Black Friday like you've probably already seen on TV. But what's actually happening? When something is scarce or limited, our brain will tell us that we need to act fast, otherwise we risk missing out. But why is it happening? Here's why. It's tied to our ancient drive to secure resources before they run out, like food. And this bias can lead us down the path of rushed decisions driven more by the fear of missing out than by rational thought. Like with your hotel room in Paris, if you had kept searching, you could have found a much better hotel that is cheaper and much better located, but that fear of missing out will create a sense of urgency that can drive you to act fast and irrationally. And if you have already seen my previous video on social proof, I'm assuming you just realized something really important. These 2 biases, scarcity and social proof, will amplify each other like dynamite in a fire. If you didn't see my video on social proof, lucky you, you're in for a treat, and I'm going to share a link to the video in the description below. I do have some good news though, because cognitive biases will more often than not lead you to a good decision unless someone knows how to use it against you like I'm about to show you. But first, if you're enjoying this video, please hit the subscribe button. It will give me so much motivation as a new YouTuber investing his nightly weekends to create good content. So how can someone use the scarcity effect for effective online marketing that will drive more sales? Let me explain what goes inside your brain when you see your product online. Well, when you first get exposed to a product or service that you're considering of purchasing, your system 1, the autopilot of the brain, will kick in to form an instant judgment of that product and ask itself, is it worth the price? Do I really need it? And within just 2 to 5 seconds, you will make an initial judgment on whether or not you will continue to consider that purchase or move to another activity. So how is the scarcity effect using a product to increase the odds of a purchase? The key is to provide that system 1 with indicators of a limit in time or inventory in order to trigger that sense of urgency that will cloud your rational thinking and influence the outcome of that initial judgment to be keep considering that product instead of closing the page and moving on to another activity. And this exact method is widely used by all the industries you can think of, from tourism to gadget, clothing and cars, in order to push people to buy now by making their brain go from, I should probably think about it more, is it a wise purchase, do I even have the budget, to, oh my god, there's only 2 left, I should probably get it now, it's never going to come back and it's probably the best product that I need. And that FOMO can be the difference between scrolling away or keep reading about the product, which obviously significantly increases the odds of you buying that purchase. Now, this method is an industry standard, but do you have any idea how it actually looks like and how easy it is to add a scarcity effect on a product page? Let me show you. And once again, let's pretend we're tech entrepreneurs and switch our consumer eyes to business owner eyes. And I'll show you how common and easy it is to add the scarcity effect to your product page. And as a quick reminder, if you've been watching this series, this is Webflow, a popular website builder for online businesses, and during one of my train rides at work, I prepared a quick product page for an amazing product called the Magic Back Scratcher, all using ChatGPT and Midjourney, and it took me like 30 minutes. Now, I could just go ahead and publish that beautiful product page as is, but the smart businessman that I am knows much better. So let's add a scarcity effect component to my product page because I want to sell as many of these puppies as fast as possible, and I will do so by creating a sense of urgency by exposing both an inventory and a time scarcity element. And all I have to do is to add a promotion element high enough on the page and include a limit in either inventory or time to trigger that FOMO effect. So how does it actually look? I'm going to take this ready-made countdown element and take a few minutes that I'm going to speed up to design the promotion, and voila! Now there's only 43 magic back scratchers left in the inventory, and my 50% off sale will end in 12 hours. So you better hurry, there aren't that many of these left. Now, of course, I'm making sure this element is high enough on the page so that 100% of the site visitors will get their system 1 impacted by the scarcity effect. But is systematically adding an imaginary inventory or time limit an ethical thing to do? Well, if there isn't any real constraints on the business, either on time and inventory, then it's definitely in the sleazy area, which is exactly why I'm going to show you how to protect yourself from malicious use of cognitive biases. There's only one thing you can do to get completely protected from cognitive biases. Don't talk to anyone, close your lights, all of them, close your laptop, and stay in your house forever. I'm kidding, of course, but it's not so far from the truth because cognitive biases are hardwired so deeply inside your brain that you can't really fully cancel them out. So what can you do? Well, if you watch this video from the very beginning, you probably will not be able to ignore future cases of the scarcity effect when someone tries to use it against you. And with each video that you watch in this series, your brain will become more and more resilient to cognitive hacks. So the next time you see a time limit or an inventory limit on a website, as long as you remember this video, it's now almost certain that I programmed your system 1 into triggering system 2 to apply critical thinking and ask yourself, do you really need this? Do you really need this now? What could be the worst thing that would happen if you don't get that thing? But it's much easier said than done because that FOMO voice in your head, the scarcity effect, is incredibly strong, especially when combined with social proof. Then it becomes a real challenge to make that voice go quiet. So here's a tip. Next time you see a time-limited deal or an inventory limit and you feel that FOMO growing and that pressure to buy now because it might be gone, set a timer closer to the end of that time limit or in a couple of hours, and you will see that more often than not, having some time to cool off, to disconnect from that product page, close your laptop, it will really help you think clearly, do you really need that thing that you just considered? Sometimes the answer will be yes, but more often than not, you will realize, actually I don't need that stuff, I better invest my money somewhere else. I think that by this point in the video, you probably already understand how easy it is to get manipulated by people who know how to use cognitive biases to make you buy more. So wait until you hear about the anchoring effect and how it's used by marketers to make you spend way more than you initially intended. I cover it right here, and it will be one more step to take back control of your mind. But before you rush to watch the anchoring effect video, if you learned something new, I would appreciate it so much if you subscribe to my channel, and it will give me a ton of motivation to keep creating content. And by the way, if the anchoring effect video is not here yet, it means that I'm still making it, and so your subscription will really give me the motivation to hurry up, and also it will let you know when I actually made it and published it. See you in the next video. Bye!